Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folarin. With me today is Mr. Dario Dufonkon, assistant editor at the Nation newspaper. Dario, as always, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon for having me, sir.
Our pleasure. And we also will be linking up with our Uche Okoro, TVC News correspondent in Anambra, because it's not over till it's over. The Anambra election that we ordinarily should be behind us now, well, it get as it be. It
was inconclusive.
It was inconclusive, and it will be conclusive today.
Yes,
touch wood.
Touch
wood, yes, if everything goes well. The election has actually started according to their night timetable from 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock till what?
I think they said 4 or something.
Yeah, something like that. 10 o'clock to 4. There are a lot of people, Dari, that say, look, INEC is following just the path of righteousness. Yeah. It's like everybody feels that with the results that have been, announced, declared by INEC in the local councils, people have a very good idea of who the front runners are and indeed who will be the victor. But having said that, you look at the papers this morning and you see that people it's not everybody, especially the contestants. Take PDP's Mr. Ozigbo, for instance. I saw one headline somewhere. I can still win this election.
Yeah, he's still hopeful.
Yes, he's still hopeful. Now, Ihiala is something like 240,000, 248 votes at stake there.
As it is. That's talking about registered voters.
Yes, registered
and
voters.
The Electoral Act over time has been explained to mean that as long as the number of possible votes in a disputed area or an area where election didn't take place, as long as the possible votes there are greater in number than the margin of victory, the chances of anybody still winning is open. So therefore, voting must take place in that. It's only where you have less number of possible votes than the margin that you can say, okay, even if everybody votes for one candidate, nothing can change. But in this situation, Ihiala has 240-something thousand votes. And the margin between the leading candidate and the next is about 60,000 or thereabout.
Yes.
So you realize that it's not over until it is over.
Indeed. One paper
and
says
that's why
248,000 votes at
the
stake.
PDP candidate, who is the runner-up,
yes,
is telling the world that, look, I can still win.
I can still win this election.
But if a good look at how voting went last Saturday will show you that nowhere did we see 1/4 of the registered voters coming out to vote.
And for the PDP candidate to be as optimistic as he is.
Ihiala is a stronghold, you can't tell.
Well, it just well might be his stronghold.
And he's a politician.
And also, well, we're dealing with numbers, and theoretically, something might change.
If he goes there and garner 200,000 votes.
Straight away, confusion.
That would be then we'll have to start explaining.
Well, if people suddenly woke up
and said, "Oh, we must change the time."
Never mind the patterning that you think you might have discerned in the first 18, 19 local governments. Yeah. Well, Ihiala is different.
It's different. So this is how we do it.
It's all up there. But as you said, observers are watching this very, very closely.
It's an interesting scenario.
It is.
It is one more new thing in our electoral experience.
Indeed. INEC has taken some knocks over this whole situation, that it was caused by the failure of its equipment and logistics, especially. The electronic device that was supposed to be even better than the card reader. Yes, exactly. Now that failed, and they didn't have a redundancy plan.
Well, you see, like every other equipment or machinery, the new device proved not to be ready, I would say. It simply proved not to be ready. It didn't fail, because in many places, more than where it didn't work, it worked.
Yes.
In more places
than
so where it didn't work.
I don't know if that also brings up the whole question of connectivity.
Connectivity, one. Then, you see, in some places on Saturday, what we saw them do, according to report, was simply changing batteries, and the thing will start working. So it is, I think it boils down to our preparedness. We must learn to start the journey early. If we have been starting early, let's start earlier.
You know,
let's start earlier.
Like get
all the equipment tested.
So
you see, when you release equipment on Friday for an election on Saturday, those who will use it will start getting used to it.
Yeah.
And so, from reports, some of these cases, it was just a matter of the person handling it not having the know-how. In some reports, know-how. So I think we will get better. Yeah. For those who are knocking INEC, well, if it's in a bid to make INEC improve, it's good. But if it's in a bid to demoralize the commission, no. INEC is testing new grounds. And it's good that we have Anambra election. We have Osun election coming through to test some of these new rules, new policies, new equipment before the general election of 2023, because that will be a huge one. Yeah. Let's test with these isolated cases.
Because the way INEC has been working, it's all about, they've been trying to get, as near to perfection as you can reasonably get in anything that involves human beings. Thinking now about making it foolproof in terms of determining who can vote. All the shenanigans that we used to get up to.
And things are just getting better.
And things certainly are getting
better. In the area of votes counting, I think we are gradually moving towards Eldorado. Sincerely, now those who want to rig will have to think harder and deeper to beat INEC in its own game. Because the idea of snatching ballot papers, stuffing it somewhere, bringing it back, it doesn't work again.
Obsolete now.
It doesn't work again.
Yes.
So what's the new thing? Stop the ballot cast from being counted, and gradually we will still beat that. And now we have electronic voting, we'll beat that. So INEC is trying sincerely. Anambra is a test case for many things. It's also a test case for our security architecture when it comes to election. We cannot continue to rely on the influx of soldiers and agencies. We must begin to think of local policing. The people in Anambra, in some local governments, created this impression that we can police ourselves. They formed some form of security network to ensure that their people were able to vote. And it helped the security situation. There are fears, there are uncertainties, but in some communities, they made up their mind, we will vote. And you saw people who voted first forming rings to say, look, let's prevent any occurrences. And when there are going to be fracases and fights, they quickly settle it. That, if you start a small fight, it will become a big thing. And we saw those things happening in many locations. And it's a new idea about the people policing the ballot to ensure that their vote counts. So it's a good thing. Anambra is opening our eyes to a lot of new things. And INEC deserves some commendations too, as it were. INEC should be commended because many new things, and it also shows in the area of preparedness of the political parties. Nobody would, whatever result you are getting now, you would know is what you worked for. If you reached all the people,
well, again,
then they are voting for you. If you didn't reach all the people, you are seeing it.
And in this particular election, there is the challenge because of the situation in Anambra.
Exactly.
Of people the contestants not having been able to go out and campaign.
Yes, because it's an issue. It's an issue. There are fears about moving around. There are fears that rallies and campaigns will be attacked. Anambra, like I said, opened new vistas.
Those are pictures of, I beg your pardon, those are pictures of
Ihala
just earlier that were recorded earlier. These are not live pictures, even though TVC News will be there live, is in fact there. But these were recorded earlier. So people getting ready for the event.
To move materials out.
So you can see that people are getting ready. The figures tell us that 248,000 votes are at stake. And as Dari was explaining, that means on the voters register. Then again, when you look at the pattern in Anambra State, the voting pattern vis-a-vis registers in local council areas and actual turnout, it's been pretty low. Our Ayodele Ozubago had been telling us that the state has its reputation for low turnout, and you know, I think I was giving us the figure of something like 22% in the last time around. So, you know, there are 248,000 votes at stake, technically speaking. But whether all of those are now going to present themselves and potentially cast their vote, you know, we'll see how it goes. The election is by and large, you know, people think they know the result, but you have to wait on INEC. So these are pictures that were from earlier, but let's go live now to Uche Okoro, our man in Anambra State. Good morning, Uche. Good morning, Uche.
Good morning, Yuri.
Okay, so I can see.
Good morning, Yuri.
Yeah, thank you. I heard you. So the pictures are they're pretty similar to ones that we got earlier. The timetable of the election was 10 o'clock. Were they able to start at 10 o'clock? Is it ongoing now, or are we still waiting for anything?
Well, Mr. Yuri, it's actually interesting because I'm actually surprised that the commission has been unable to fulfill its promise of commencing this election on schedule. Over years, we've always had the election commencing at 8 a.m. No election that I've ever covered or heard that has been covered or has held in Nigeria has ever begun at 8 a.m. And now we've had the election shifted by 2 hours to commence by 10 a.m. And here we are. This is 15 minutes after 11 a.m. And I think about this time, the electoral officials, ad hoc staff and materials will just be arriving at their units. Because as far as from my observation here at the Ihiala local government secretariat, where all the materials were kept, and from here they moved. The movement, the deployment from this killer location to the various polling units began at about 5 to 10 minutes after 11 a.m. So that's 1 hour behind schedule. So just imagine if that election, so the implication is that even if the commission shifts election to commence at 12 noon, perhaps they still will not be able to get it right as to the early start of elections in the country. So that's where we are. Officers their way to their various polling units. A number of them have left. Some others are still here, not knowing their next move. But as you can see to my far left, there you have a number of the electoral officials beginning to make their way from the Ihiala local government secretariat, where I can describe as the rack, to their various polling units under very tight security. So that's the situation here as regards the 10 a.m. scheduled time from the commission.
Indeed, as you say, just looking at my watch here, we've got 18 minutes past 11 from 10 a.m. That was the designated time for the election to begin. And I can see a pretty miffed Uche, you know, tracing it back to all the elections you've covered, and they haven't been able to come up at 8 o'clock. Now you've pushed it back 2 hours, and we still, you know, are needing more time. No word from the officials as to what is responsible for this delay, Uche? I mean, is everybody just left on their own? I can see that there's a problem. It's frozen a bit. Let me try again. I was saying, any word from INEC officials as to what might have happened, because INEC is fully in this election and it's fully about its job, and it usually wants to explain things that are a bit off schedule. Any word from them at all as to why a 10 o'clock scheduled election hasn't really taken off around 10:19, 10:20? I beg your pardon, 11:19, 11:20. This is for a 10 o'clock election. Any word from the from INEC officials at all? Well, I can see that we have a slight challenge in connection. Okay.
Interview with an information officer from the to Anambra State to conduct that election, and he has told me that in terms of logistics. So he could. It's being delayed. But from my observation, what I can say, the fact that many of the ad hoc staff are unable to identify or get themselves together to locate their polling units and also come to.
It's a bit frustrating because there clearly are data transmission issues, network issues, and it's almost like a puzzle where we hear Uche for 2 seconds and don't hear him for another 2 seconds, and so we're trying to make up what was he actually trying to say. But I think he was addressing my question as to whether any word yet from the officials as to why this lateness, and he was just about to give us his theory that looked to going from his observations, and he was saying things in there about the ad hoc people either not knowing themselves or not knowing how to gather. Well, unfortunately, I wonder if this kind of a network issue wasn't part of what affected the BVAS, or is that what it is?
It's
Ada in Jos. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning to your guests there. Ada, calling from Jos. Mr. Yori, I wait for my country. I'm just watching the program, and I was listening to your comments and all that. It is really sad. You see, it's a systemic problem. I wonder where the INEC will pass the buck to now. The other time he said it was insecure. Yesterday I watched the man in charge of Greece there on channels, and he told us, he said INEC has not said why they couldn't do that. They were on ground. Are you listening to me?
Yes, we can hear you.
That was what he said. So INEC, if the INEC boss, I respect that man. If he's listening to me, or people around him are listening to me, I am appealing to him to please go and put his house in order. It's really becoming embarrassing. It's becoming an international embarrassment, not even national. Honestly speaking, look at the time. And I just pray that even that BVAS, I hope they were able to sort out the ones that they can even use and it will work. But that would be a disaster. It's really a tragedy, I'm telling you. And you know the way it is going. This election has been peaceful, Mr. Loyori, but the way they handled this particular last lap, you understand what I'm saying? Might lead to crisis. Because there are a lot of suspicions going on. Some of the political parties are saying that a miracle can happen. Somebody who is number 3 will now become, the Supreme Court will now. We want to have our governor through the ballot. As simple as that. I am appealing to them, please and please, we have had enough problems. That place is a very volatile area. Let them not do anything funny. Let it continue to be free, fair, and credible. God bless you. Let's not give up in this country. We'll get it right someday.
Indeed. Thank you very much. That's a problem right there that Ada has highlighted again. And she's also introducing some other aspects. Like, look, so far so good. Let this last lap, so to speak, let nothing untoward happen. Because, first of all, politicians for what they are, they will be suspicious even when ordinary people don't see a reason to be suspicious. And here we are, 11:23 now. It was supposed to be 10 o'clock. And there hasn't been word from INEC. Uche Okoro, the TVC News correspondent in Anambra, he was just voicing his own frustration there. And the later you start, the later you're going to close. And that now, I don't think everybody was really prepared or wants this election to go into another day. It needs to be finished today. Reverend Dominic, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Yori. Good morning to your guests.
Indeed. Thank you.
This election is just taking place in one local government. What will be the excuse of INEC again? If you can you hear me?
We can hear you.
This election is one local government. One. What is the excuse again? And let me say this, Yori. Nigeria is in a circle, in a bucket. You can't talk to your correspondent here in Nigeria. Yori, I can talk to somebody in UK easily. But I have somebody that's schools in Cotonou. I can't WhatsApp him. I can't talk with him. It's network, and the more you frustrate in network, the more you're paying much money in internet. Nobody takes responsibility that you buy an internet or a credit, and they take the money. You are not using it, and nobody's paying you back. It happens in INEC. It happens to people who give work. Okay, the other day they said that some suspects did not show up. There's a man who we give that contract to give us buses. What was his own? What was the answer? No answer. A nation, nobody takes responsibility. Could I call it in Nigeria? Even though heaven falls, nobody takes responsibility. At times we got to pay contest visits to a man who killed a man who's supposed to be in prison. We got paying contest visits after he caused damage. Who is being responsible to a man in Nigeria? Cannot start a election at least by 10. By 11 as I'm watching it, they have not started. One local government, 34,000 policemen, 20,000 security, national security and what? Police, GSS, one local government, 11:30. We've not started. Can we hold anybody responsibly? Can we ask somebody why it didn't work? But nobody will ask questions.
Indeed.
Yesterday, 240,000 people are elected a governor in the state. We keep quiet. In a good nation, we're supposed to plead. We're supposed to ask questions. Why should work 2.5 million? You are just saying yesterday that the elections in Anambra is in Lagos. It's not true. Okay, let's agree with my brother yesterday in the studio. The elections in Anambra is living in Lagos. Do you mean that 500,000 electors in Lagos from going to Lagos to Anambra? No. The issue is that there's something goes wrong. Our people have been dictated this government, whether it's in center, whether it's in the state. The way that we are governed is insulting. Use their network. We are paying somebody. Even if you pay somebody for network, but you can't have the service. But you're paying bills. But nobody will question anybody.
Okay.
Only day we begin to take responsibility in Nigeria will move forward. I don't move for Nigeria.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Reverend Dominic. A bit despondent there. I understand, because Reverend Dominic is very politically conscious, and like most Nigerians, he just wanted to work. And the assurances we were getting from INEC right up, leading up to the election, about how they tested the systems. Now, it does. We wait for them to come and tell us exactly what happened, but it does look like a network issue. There might be more, but even Dominic was saying in there how sometimes, and a lot of WhatsApp users, which is a social media platform, will have experienced this. You're talking with someone in the UK or in the US, and especially if they initiate the call, I don't know what's going on exactly, but it's a lot easier to get through. And meanwhile, you're trying to talk to someone local, and he keeps on, you can't get anything through. So this is one of the challenges that we're having in here. We don't know what exactly the problem is, but INEC is not helping the matter by not having come out and have made a statement. There's so many articulate people in INEC. There's a lot riding on this in terms of the reputation of INEC. Everybody is still supportive of INEC. Yeah. You spoke to that. Yeah. Everybody is still supportive. But they have tried, but this silence in the midst of this is clearly a PR embarrassment. There must be a good reason for it.
They are taking responsibilities, and they have explained, I think, on Saturday that yes, some of the equipment failed to work and that they have backups that could be used.
But let's see. We have Dr. Ene Obi, coordinator of the Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room. I believe that's in Anambra. Hello, Dr. Obi. Good morning, Dr.
Hello. Obi. Good morning. Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Indeed. What can you tell us about the situation? The election is behind schedule, should have started at 10 o'clock. If it's going to start, it'll be any minute from now, and maybe that's even being a bit optimistic. We have 11:29 now. What can you tell us in relation to this?
Well, we don't have any update from INEC itself at the moment, but we deployed observers to all the wards, and the feedback we are getting is in some of the areas you have, first of all, you are confronted with a lot of traffic leading to some of the local environments, heavy traffic, you have trucks, and then you have the security men also blocking one of the parts, like at Uli Town, Ward 2. Ihiala, you know, they say there is a serious gridlock there. So we don't know whether that is preventing, you know, the ad hoc officers with the INEC team. So we are seeing a lot of gridlock there. In some of the others, you are having, you know, a lot of the local transportation to take the observers to the interior. Some of them say it's a no-go area, and so there's an uneasy camp. In other, you know, wards, you have the security people on ground, but there are no INEC officials. So we don't know exactly what is going on. We have a lot of report that is coming in, you know, from colleagues there. At the Ihiala Secretariat, look, the LGA Secretariat, they say it's highly a militarized zone. As of 30 minutes ago, you know, the heavy presence of the security. But we've also seen that the presence of the security is not a threat to, you know, to voters, but voter turnout is also not a big one. Mm-hmm. You know, where in some of the voter LGAs, we're having just about 2 people coming out. So it's going to be, and it's a bit late to see what is going on. But if we had the INEC officials that have been deployed already, then we'll know that they are on ground, and then we need to look up to them. Okay,
Dr. Obi, you said in some cases, having to go into the interior regions, there are those who are saying those are no-go areas. Didn't it help a bit then when the proscribed IPOB encouraged people to come out and vote and have no fear and stay to defend their vote? So one would have thought that that would have cleared up some of those fears a bit. But in your situation room, what is the experience you have from that side?
I think for us, that the election held at all is kudos. We say kudos to INEC because there were logistics issues on ground, huge logistics issues. And then others is like man-made, which we are holding INEC responsible. But there are many other obstacles that were there that could not be surmounted, and given the condition and the peculiarity of the election, you know, one would think that, you know, we need to just look inward and correct the ones that are man-made, the ones that are circumstantial, that you can look at. I think I'd really commend the IPOB people because they kept to their promise. They said everybody should go out and vote. They never cashed on anybody for going out to vote, but there was an uneasy camp. We have to look at that. It was a very, very peaceful election. I came in from Oka last night. But one would say the turnout again, Anambra is known for low voter turnout, but the turnout for this one, the fact that they were courageous to come out, a lot of people were courageous to come out. It sent some vivas, and we are grateful to the Anambra people because the civil society situation room really did a lot of advert locally on ground. On ground, we were thinking on our feet, how can we get the people to turn out? It's not just okay to make a pronouncement. So we want to commend them. And there was no major issue in terms of, you know, violence. So we have to commend them. I think the peace accord that happened before the election itself was another one, you know, that we commend again. You have to commend those who have done well. The peace committee led by General, you know, Abubakar, and the Kuka Center, you know, Bishop Hassan Kuka, for the work that they did towards mobilizing all the political parties. And I can tell you, they were on ground. We went there, you know, the civil society was mobilized by the Kuka Center to ensure that they were there to witness the signing of that peace accord. And so that appeal to everyone to be on board and allow the election to hold, you know, took place. The morning of deployment that day was quite slow for us because we weren't sure. And the safety of observers too was something that was a major concern for us. But we're quite grateful to all the observers. They went to the field and the place, nobody was preventing anybody. The security was calm. As we're seeing this morning, in many of the police stations, we have security men on ground already. But the election is not holding because the materials are not arriving. We are still getting updates about, you know, where we are. for so many wards, we are seeing that not many people are on ground. There is empty spaces from what we can see. No INEC official, no, in some places like in one of the wards, there is no INEC in Okija, Ward 5, there is no INEC official, and we met with the supervisor. There's the ad hoc staff on ground there, they are waiting for essential materials. So there is a lot that is going on there.
Dr. Obi, you touched on the whole matter about low turnout generally from the beginning of this election. So it's reasonable to assume that this particular election is going to follow that pattern as well. Yet, as you might have scanned the papers, and you might have seen that some aspirants are actually putting some stock on the Ihiala situation, that this is still a doable proposition. There are 248,000 votes at stake there.
Yeah, I think that's why it's important that they did not declare the elections. They left the election as inconclusive, so that people are given the opportunity, to be able to cast their vote and let their voice be part of what will come out in the end. What we are seeing right now is not encouraging, because even a number of the primary schools where the elections are supposed to hold, they say some of the gates are locked. We look at, there's a lot of complaint, coming up. As at 10:26 in Uli 111, polling booth 003, 009, 0012, 0016, there's nothing going on there. Nothing is going on. They can't see no INEC official. There they also say they didn't see security officials. So what we were expecting is that for this environment, we expect a huge turnout, that all the polling units will be manned by INEC will not have any problem, and there will be no problem of deployment of ad hoc of staff, because this is just one local government. And so we hope that they will arrive quickly and mount. But like I said again, the kind of gridlock that we're talking about, it's almost a nightmare in some of the places. So we hope that this election holds, because today is a D-Day. But normally it starts very early. People are not sure because of issues of security. Sometimes heavy presence of security can be a level of threat as well. But we encourage the people of Ihiala to come out en masse and let their voice count. It's one local government, but it doesn't matter. Even the voice of one person can count. We don't expect more than what we have gotten from the other local governments in terms of turnout. We've had cases of when you have about 180,000 people and only a few thousands turn up. Very, very, they turn out again. This time is going to be lower than any other time. Okay.
Well, we want to thank you very much, Dr. Ene Obi, Coordinator, the Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room in Anambra. Thank you very much for your valuable contribution and insights. Okay, so indeed. Here we are, it's 11:41. I mean, we don't give time checks on the program, but because election should have started at 10 o'clock, every minute, especially since you've entered into, look, if we're not careful, this thing will be up to 12 noon. Midday, and it will then be 2 hours late. And if it were the normal schedule of INEC, as Uche was telling us, which is 8 o'clock, that would have been 4 hours if we hit 12 o'clock. And so far, for whatever reason, I think it's a bit unusual, INEC hasn't commented. And, there's a lot at stake.
There's a lot at stake, and I think the Commission is actually taking its time to check what is happening. As at the last minute, voting is yet to start in Anambra. And from the little we have gathered, you will recall that one of the major reasons why this election didn't take place in the area is the issue of security. Reports are saying INEC is also trying to ensure that men and resources that will go to the field are properly secured. There has also been reports of other logistical issues today. For example, some of the polling units are to take place in some public schools. Some of the staff got there this morning to find a place under lock and key.
Dr. B just said.
I think she mentioned that. She just mentioned that. I just got that report now that some of polling units, venues, are under lock and key.
So what's the
these are man-made problems.
Mazi Okorafo in Arochukwu. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, guest.
Yeah.
So you see, there is something I want us to look into before we start complaining. All the youths, everybody there in Anambra, they have all settled down. Everybody is waiting for the last. Now, the INEC and the federal government. This is their job. This one, to me, it doesn't have anything to do with security men job at the, because they should find out what is holding that election. I'm saying because see, everybody has just piped low, relax, for the fight, conclusive conclusion, therefore. But anything coming to happen in here, it will create a whole problem. We have seen what is in short, the generation have been going on. Anambra said have been that made development. Everybody, people are afraid even to pass through the place that since people have now they have concluded everything on Sunday. To summarize everything today, look at the excuses we are hearing. I'm just going on the federal government, whosoever is a president. Where the ballot boxes or the vote is at, let them take it to the people, let them do their job and do their voting and go peacefully. Because the youth in that, I've said it, I'm saying repeating it. These are totally non-mean that they take everything, they go haywire. It will not be healthy for us. Everybody.
Yeah, we hope that won't happen. Mazi Okorafo, we can just, hope against hope that that won't happen. So far, by all accounts, Mazi, the election, has been okay. In as much as I heard President Obasanjo say in a different context that no election is perfect. So, I mean, moving as close to perfection as possible, this has even come beyond where we used to be before. We just hope that the goodwill will hold. But Mazi is also pointing to possible, leakages of this good feeling that we have if we're not careful.
Yeah,
but
it's normal for people to
be apprehensive,
suspicious. That's what I see. People are suspicious because we are 19. You have more than 90% of locations already declared. Then you have just 1 or 5% to go, and there is the possibility that things could change. It's given the number of votes at stake. So naturally people is also, however, we should not fuel that fear. That
it's like so far things have been,
things are going smoothly.
So far,
Ihiala is not looking different from what we've had in other local governments. Whoever is apprehensive should just calm down. Ihiala, from what we have seen today, the turnout we had the situation room report, it's still not impressive.
It is
the logistic issues that reared their head in other local government are showing here, even on a day we are holding election in just one local government. So don't forget that the monitors are now concentrating on
that was the point that Reverend Dominic also had made, that look, this is just one. What if this were, the
whole state?
The whole state.
But we saw what happened when it was the whole state. So it's not different. The civil society monitors are all focusing on Ihiala now.
Yeah.
And I tell you, all things being equal, nothing will go hurry. The election will be concluded today. People who are willing to vote will be given the opportunity to vote. Indeed. And those votes will be counted alongside the ones that have been counted.
The people seem determined to vote. Those of them that come out, they wait for ages.
I was not even expecting the kind of turnout, given the fear, the apprehension.
Chidi in Kafanchan. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you very much for calling in.
Good morning, our guest this morning.
Indeed.
My little take on this very program is I want to specially congratulate the INEC for doing a whole lot of good job.
Okay.
As far as Anambra gubernatorial election is concerned. I think they have fulfilled all righteousness. And the Anambrans have spoken. So what is happening at the moment should not be unexpected. Because even if a particular candidate gets the entire 200 and something thousand votes today, it's not going to change anything. So at this point, having done this, I expect that in due course, the INEC will have to make a pronouncement concerning the winner and the loser as far as this election is concerned. It must have to be concluded, and a winner must be declared.
Indeed.
Thank you, and may we have it better next time.
Indeed.
God bless Nigeria.
Thank you very much for calling in. On that particular point, we know it's well nigh impossible, but you know, nothing should be left out. Nothing should be left out of. Everything should be allowed on the table.
That's why we want to differ a bit from the last speaker.
Exactly.
Saying even if one particular can get the whole vote, nothing will change. That's not too correct.
That's not true.
Because if it happens, it's unlikely.
On the side of theory now, if one of the
trailing candidates gets 248, he becomes the winner, no matter even if he's fifth position.
He's not going to get 100%. Let's say even if he gets 200.
He becomes the winner.
Exactly.
Even if he's sixth position, that gets 200.
But then
we'll begin to say how is it possible?
Wouldn't follow the pattern of
what we've seen since Saturday.
Statewide.
That's why we are optimistic that things may remain the way they are.
Exactly.
That's not to say...
Just exploring the realm
but following our electoral law, with the situation, things can still change. Therefore, allow the whole process to go all the way. And that's what INEC is just doing.
Let's hear it from Kesandu in Owerri. Good morning, sir.
Uncle Yori, good morning, and good morning to your guest.
Good morning.
Uncle Yori, since Saturday, I've been a happy man. Honestly speaking, what happened, or what is happening in Anambra is a clear indication that a new Nigeria is possible. Everyone knows what to do. And we'll continue to do what is right, we'll get it right. Honestly speaking, my best commendation goes to INEC. This has gone to show us that to a very reasonable, huge extent, INEC, if they want to give us a free, fair, and credible election in this country, they will. They've done it in Edo, they're doing it in Anambra today. And I assure you that if they continue to do like this, come 2023, Nigerians will be very, very, very happy with them. Honestly, I must commend the people of Anambra too. Anambra people have shown that, see, we can stop this vote buying of a thing. You see people rejecting 5,000 naira, 10,000 from a particular political party, telling them vehemently and openly, bluntly, that we don't want money. This is good. It goes a long way to tell our citizens in this country that we can actually do our part. Let everybody do his part, and we'll make this country a better place. Nigeria belongs to all of us, and nobody is more Nigerian than another. I want the National Assembly to actually help INEC. We can do electronic transmission. We can do some of this. INEC has proven that they have the capacity to do this. Let us actually help them.
All right, then.
That we're having this particular success in this election. I am so happy.
Okay.
God bless all of you.
Thank you very much, Kesandu. No doubt INEC will be pleased with the vote of confidence.
But that's the truth.
Yes.
See, while there are logistic issues and other things, I think we've seen a lot of improvement.
Yeah.
It is about the people being more confident in this.
I don't want to rain on this particular parade. I hear what you're saying, and I hear what respected contributors are saying, but you've also said it's human. These are human issues. You know, all these logistics and all these they're human. And INEC certainly has the capability, the thinking capability in there, the quality of personnel in there. They're able to look at these things, extrapolate, and that's why some people are feeling disappointed that INEC can do better, much as they are being commended for having done it.
There are loopholes.
Yes, there are loopholes that they feel that...
but don't forget that I know 70%, I'll put it, of the staff being deployed, they are ad hoc staffs. They're not full staff of it. So you will also look at that factor.
Okay, you want to
look at that factor.
Tony in the UK, good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning.
Thank you for calling in, Tony. Go ahead, please.
Yes, yes, saying that even if the third place person or the fourth place person gets wins Ihiala, then he might win. That is not correct, because the winner must demonstrate that they win at least 25% of the local government area.
Okay.
Yes.
Am I wrong?
No,
Yeah, you are right.
You are right. You are quite right.
The only person that can fulfill that at the moment is Afghan.
That's right.
Well.
So the conduct of Ihiala
okay.
is irrelevant.
All right. Thank you for calling in, Tony. We didn't want to interrupt, the call, but Dare he has some, differences with that position.
That's that. I think all other candidates, none of them have been declared to have scored 0 in all the other local governments. So they are supposed to have a particular number of votes across the state. So if you are winning with total vote and you don't have the required spread, it becomes an issue. But if you have somebody with 243 who does not have this total spread and somebody with 118 who has the spread, the electoral law has not told us that the person with 118 will be declared winner. So it will just create a new. What we are saying is that things can change. It can take all of us back to the drawing board. If it happens that way.
This point has been made.
Yes.
That right now there's a lacuna in there.
That is it.
If we're not careful. But
yes.
we take. Thank you very much, Tony, for calling in. That's why we're being cautious how we also, are commenting on this particular issue and interpreting all of these things. But the important thing is that here we are, it's 11:54. The election should have started at 10 o'clock, and at 11:54, action has not yet started in terms of the election itself proper. So we'll see how close to 12 noon it is, or how much after 12 noon it is. Well, we're going to have to leave it here today, this morning. TVC News, of course, will keep on it, and we're giving you a minute-by-minute account as things happen there. So the very, very second that it's officially underway, you will know. Thanks to Dr. Ene Obi, Coordinator, Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room, who spoke to us from Anambra. Of course, our man, Uche Okoro, also spoke with us, and not the least, certainly, Dare Odufo, Assistant Editor at the Nation newspaper. And of course, thanks to all those guys who also called in, because everybody, our mind is on Anambra, and that this should be done right. So that's our program. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I'm Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.